he comes back next year and pitches great. And then we have Eduardo Rodriguez, who, rookie with a lot of potential. Henry Owens, top prospect. So, we have a lot of quality pitchers, Red Sox. If they sign that ace, be that one person who will go on top and take this group on top, this group of guys on top. He gives them a good chance. Hopefully, he'll give them a good chance to win every 5 games and just sort of bring this group together. Because right now they have 5 middle of the rotation, great middle of the rotation guys. They just need that one guy. So I think they do need to sign an ace. But, first and foremost, they need to upgrade their bullpen. And if they sign that one ace, I think the one person should be... Who's a free agent next year? They have David Price out there. And Johnny Cueto also said he wanted to be a Red Sox. But Cueto, I don't know. I think David Price... I would sign David Price if I had money. If I had... the Red Sox have a lot of money. Dave Dombrowski has had the experience working with David Price on the Tigers. David Price is very familiar with AL East batters. He pitched for the Rays for so long that I think he'll be the most ideal fit to lead this Red Sox staff. And he was teammates with Rick Porcello last year, so there really isn't a better fit in free agency next year. What do you think, Dad?
Yeah, well, as you know, I don't really follow the Red Sox, Jamie, but wasn't Porcello, when did he go over to the Red Sox? Wasn't he with the Tigers?
He got traded for Yoenis Cespedes this offseason, which has directly affected the Mets. So he got traded for Cespedes, and the Red Sox signed him to a big contract, so hopefully he can do well. I think they were looking at him to be their ace.
Yeah.
So if you guys would like to call in, SKCM, that's Skype account.
I got an email from one of our callers. She's listeners. She said she's going to call in right now. So.
Okie doke. Well, we are speaking. So if you want to call in, you can. Now I think would be a good time to call in. But if we move on to. Back to the Mets now.
Let's talk about the playoff roster, Jamie. Who do you think should be on the playoff roster?
Okay, the 25-man playoff roster. The Mets just have so many good players now. A lot of people are deserving. I think 25 guys are not enough. Just a thought. What would you think of playoff rosters expanding to 30?
I don't know. The regular season, except for September, of course, it's 25. So I sort of think that they should keep it to 25. Keep the 25 best. You can switch players in between series. So if someone gets injured in particular, or if, your American League team or National League team crossing over and playing the other league, you can make changes. But I think 25 is, they shouldn't make the game that much different than it was the rest of the season. But it is tough for the Mets. In fact, they have such a embarrassment of riches now in their lineup that I've noticed that Terry Collins has been able to field a lineup with lefty righty every single day, and it's been different people. So
and he can also field an all lefty or all righty lineup.
And in doing so, he doesn't really lose too much on defense either. So he has a lot of options. So I think it's going to be interesting. Like, do people like Eric Young, who was traded specifically for speed, and the Mets don't really have anyone else of his speed on the roster. Remember, Eric Young led the National League in stolen bases. He was a stolen base king just 2 years ago. So does he make the roster?
I think there are a lot of, because if he makes a roster, you have to take away one position player or one guy from the bullpen. Bullpen has been great. I think there are a lot of deserving guys out there, but Carlos Torres getting injured is definitely. Whoa! Sorry for that. That's something. I think Carlos Torres' injury has. He's lost a lot of hope for making the playoff roster. I think he was deserving of it, but Bartolo Colon, John Neese, we're added to it. But I don't know even if John Neese would make. Oh, okay, we have a caller, and we'll get back to that later. Hello, Gio.
Hello.
Hi, Gio.
Hello.
Hello. So,
Hi, Gio. Thanks for calling in.
Question?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yep, I can.
Right. So I have a feeling you want to talk Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, why not?
Any questions about them?
What do you think that led to the Tigers' downfall?
Okay, I think, as I told you, all season long, their bullpen has, well, their bullpen started out alright, but it's just gotten weaker and weaker. The guys are getting old, big contracts. The guys are, getting old. Apart from J.D. Martinez and Miguel Cabrera, who's been injured most of the season, most of the guys aren't producing. They're trying out a lot of
Victor
rookies now.
Martinez.
Sorry, no, Victor Martinez is not doing well this year. J.D. Martinez is the guy. Otherwise, everyone else is sort of aging. I mean, but I think Dave Dombrowski did a good job getting prospects back in their system.
I see.
To me, I think it's the rotation, Gio, first and foremost, right? Because
Yep.
They lost Searcher.
Yep.
And then Verlander, who's actually been pitching better this year than he has in the last couple of years, but he was injured for a while. And then Anibal Sanchez, who has been their number 3 starter during this run, he's been injured. He's still injured. And they did get David Price in, which was a good move. But they traded away both Doug Fister and Rick Porcello. So those were 2 really strong guys for the end of the rotation, particularly Doug Fister, who's done well for Nationals. And after trading him away, I think they got who was it, Robbie Ray, the guy who then they traded it to the Diamondbacks.
Doug Fister trade was for Steve Lombardozzi.
No, Steve Lombardozzi and Robbie Ray. And then Robbie Ray was traded away to get Shane Green from the Yankees. So basically, Fister was traded away to get Shane Green. And, Shane Green in spring training and in his first 2 starts of the season, everyone thought that he was going to get the Cy Young. And all the Yankees fans were complaining that we traded away Shane Green for D.E. Gregorius. I don't know if you remember that many months ago.
Yep.
But then something happened. I don't know. I think Shane Green is injured, so giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think he came out of the blocks really strong, had 3 or 4 great starts, and then his ERA I think sits at around 6 now, and he's back on the DL. So I think he's been injured. So hopefully the Tigers get him back. But so they pretty much lost Doug Fister for nothing, and they lost Rick Porcello for nothing. And so the guys that they signed, who's the Alfredo
Simon.
Yeah, he's been pretty weak, right? So
he's
they've gone from the best. I think last 2 years, the Tigers have had twice as good a pitching staff as anyone else in the entire major leagues. If you look at the Fangraph WAR numbers, the Tigers have a number that's twice as high as any other team for their starting rotation. So they've just had an unbelievable starting rotation, but they've gone from having an unbelievable starting rotation to kind of a middle-of-the-road starting rotation that has no depth. And so it's a decent one, with Price, Verlander, and Sanchez at the top 3. You can't say it's a bad rotation, but with Verlander and Sanchez both being on the DL, then you really only have Price there, and an injured Shane Green, and Simon's been bad, as we've said. So I think you have to look at the rotation as the main culprit. The bullpen's been pretty bad too, as Jamie said.
Yep.
And they haven't really gotten the right guys to replace the guys that have left. And then I think as you've seen with the Phillies, when you leave an all-star lineup in and they get too old, and it just gets too old. So Victor Martinez, I think that was something probably that the owner really loves him. He's a great guy.
The owner wants
but
to
he's
win.
Just too old. He's just too old. And so the lineup's just too old. Aside from Miggy Cabrera, you've got, I guess, Jose Iglesias. He's got high ceiling at short. And who's the guy that they have at second? They have a good second baseman too, right?
Ian Kinsler.
Oh yeah, Ian Kinsler. Yeah,
He's
so
getting
Kinsler,
old also, though.
He's getting a bit older, yeah. But he's swapping out for Prince Fielder. That was probably a good move, given that they moved Cabrera over to first. Fielder, of course, has been having a great bounce back season.
Yes.
With the Rangers. So maybe you say, okay, well, maybe, but I think that Fielder is not a good performer in the playoffs, and he's just not a clutch
Yep.
guy in the playoffs.
Yep.
So I think they were probably right to make that trade. I can't fault him for that trade. And then, Cespedes, for whatever reason, didn't turn into Mickey Mantle until he got traded to the Mets. I mean, he was okay, but I think he was on base percentage was only like 317 before the trade, which is one reason why I was a little bit worried about the trade when the Mets did the trade. But obviously, he never turned into Mickey Mantle. So,
Yep.
but I have to say that was a win-win deal for both teams because the Tigers weren't going to go anywhere this year, and they actually got two really good pitchers back. Michael Fulmer is actually more advanced than the Mets' vaunted prospects, like even Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom certainly were not as advanced as Michael Fulmer was in the minors. Like I was reading he had like 93 strikeouts in 92 innings in Double-A ball with a 2.05 ERA. So he's got really good stuff with a really hard fastball, hard thrower. So he could be top of the rotation guy later on. And the other guy that they signed, the other pitcher, Cessna, he's also not a bad pitcher. He's probably not going to crack the rotation, but he may be a good long man or quality bullpen arm. So that's not bad yield for Cespedes, who's going to walk anyway at the end of the season. So I have to say the Tigers were maybe a little bit hasty in getting rid of DeBrusque. I don't know if they're going to find, I guess Avila is I guess people credit him for a lot of the trades in the past. So, maybe he'll step up and do a good job. We'll see.
I think the Tigers owner is too desperate, and now is a great time for the Tigers to go into rebuild mode.
Yep.
I think it's a good move. I mean, look what happened to the Phillies. They delayed going to rebuild mode. They've just been terrible for the last 3-4 years. So, I think once the starting rotation went down and their off-season plan didn't quite work out, I think it was a good call to be sellers at the trade deadline.
I think looking into the future, as a Tigers fan, Joe, you'll have to hope that Dave Dombrowski's trading away for good prospects will not be ruined by the Tigers' desperate owner.
Hopefully not.
As a Tigers fan, you're a Tigers fan. Hopefully, you're probably wishing that Tigers fans out there are probably wishing that he won't force Avila to trade away all their newcomer prospects for aging stars or superstars that are under rental contracts. We'll see.
We'll see.
Gio, you can also become a Mets fan.
Yeah, I'm already also going for I'm already rooting for the Mets now. Now that the Tigers are not doing too well.
Yeah, it's an exciting team to root for, right?
Yes, very exciting.
We've got a young pitching staff, and it's so they should be together for quite a few years. Hopefully, we have a good year.
Yes. Yep.
So, do you think the Mets should sign Cespedes next year?
Yeah, they should, especially the way he's playing now, and he's proven to be a good player anyway. Even though if he's not batting like this, he will still give you good numbers. Like when he was with the Tigers, he was still putting up decent numbers, and at least he provided offense for the Tigers, and so probably he'll provide offense for the Mets in the future.
I think we need Cespedes more than Harvey. I think Harvey's not as, we don't need to be as desperate to sign Harvey as we should be to sign Cespedes.
Yeah, but Harvey isn't a free agent next year either, right? We've still got
a few years of Harvey, but he has Scott Boras as an agent. I predict he'll go on the Yankees when he becomes a free agent. You know that guy? Joker.
But, we're lucky that we have 5 amazing arms because Zach Wheeler will be coming back next year, too. So that's going to be a scary rotation. Zach Wheeler, Steven Matz, Syndergaard, deGrom, and Harvey.
Yep.
Which begs the question, what will happen to Jonathan Neese?
Well, I think Neese will either become the long man or he'll step in if someone's injured. Injuries these days for starting pitchers, I think you just have to plan on the fact that one of your starters will go down for some period of time. So to have 6 or 7 arms is not a bad thing.
True.
So any wish list for the Tigers, Gio?
Not really. Just I hope that they will keep the players that they traded for